Hello, everyone. Hey, everyone, it's Marianne. We're just going to hang tight for a few seconds and wait for 8 o'clock to start before we get rolling with tonight's activities. I'm trying to minimize the glare on some of these acetate cards, but you can't with acetate, I swear. That's what makes it difficult to photograph as well. So, of those of you who are here tonight, how many Christmas cards did you make in July? I want to know. I think I made over 20. I think. How many do you think you made? Hello, everyone. So tell me how many Christmas cards you think, rough estimate, you don't have to go count, on how many cards you made this month in July. Do you know tomorrow's August 1st? I just am really struggling with that. So the question is, how many Christmas cards have you made in the month of July? None? Zero? Ooh. Oh no. What happened? Wait, okay, let's rephrase this. Who shopped for Christmas in July? You can shop anywhere. Just tell us if you shopped for Christmas in July. Bonus points if you shopped with Queen and Company for Christmas in July. So how many purchases did you make in July for Christmas in July? Oh, 8's pretty good. Oh, Linda's winning right now with 12. What are you going to win? Oh, Linda, you get to win the opportunity to make me a cheesecake. Okay, friends, so it's 8 o'clock, and I wanted to get started with you, or for you. Tonight, we're just talking about snow, the white powdery stuff. So this is what it looks like when you get it. It looks very much like maybe the inside of a pillow or something like that. Now, it is not very staticky. It's actually very easy to work with. And if I drop this, you will see what a mess it can make. Oh, what's in there? Maybe it's a feather, like if it's a pillow insert. Just kidding. Anyway, so it's very, it can be messy if you drop it. I did drop some, and I wiped it onto the floor, and then my dark dog rolled into it, and I thought, what is going on? She's got such bad dandruff lately. It was the snow. So don't fall for that. It does vacuum up nicely if you get your vacuum out. So tonight we're going to talk about snow. We're going to make a couple of cards. I'm going to show you how I made this scenic card right here and how I got the snow to stick to the trees, but not everywhere, and then how it gets really beautiful down here at the bottom. But here's another scenic scene that I made, and I just used an X-Acto knife to create the hills of the trees. I found trees throughout all of the Queen and Company kits that I have. I think I got most of these trees from Winter Wonderland and the jar, holiday jar. I know there's quite a good little glare there, so I'm trying to hold it where there's not. Do I got it? I think I got it. Oh, nope. Anyway, you can see that the snow doesn't really move a lot, so you could add toppings in with this snow. This snow is actually called snow topping. It doesn't move much, but it really looks beautiful, and it looks like an actual snow globe. But when you tip it upside down, it really doesn't go that far. So keep that in mind. So you're going to want to place the snow where you want the snow inside of your card. So here is another card that I made, and it is the Snowflake Shape Shaker card, or shaped card kit, and it's new. I just released this July, just a couple or less week, and I'm going to show you how I made this card base for it, and we're going to fill a card, a shaker card, or a snowflake card with snow. Now, will it work and will it look beautiful? We're going to find out. on live TV. And I did hear that you guys were very interested in how I made this border. These are our new borders, Bonanza borders, 1 and number 2. And I believe this is from set number 2. No, set number, yes, set number 2. Anyway, I just will show you how I did that and how I made the scene and how I made the snow work within this scene. So we'll get started on that as well. So first of all, this is what your snow looks like when you dump it out. But you'll receive the snow in a package like this. There's quite a bit in here. And I have not opened this package at all. I've opened this package and I've used it 3 or 4 times already, and I still have this much snow left. So it goes far. We're going to leave that there, hoping I don't blow on it, sneeze on it, anything like that, because it will blow all over the place. So we're going to replicate, actually we're not going to replicate exactly this card, but we're going to work on this card or something similar, a scene if you will. And I've pre-cut everything so you didn't have to listen to my machine because I wanted to get right down to the nitty gritty on how the snow works. But I still did want to put this card together for you. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for you really quick. And I love this die. This is a foundation die, and it covers the entire front part of your card. So you could have a black card base, a white card base. I'm trying to get my squeaky chair to come around so I can sit with you while I do this. Now that's a good question, and I think I've asked this on some of the Queen and Company questions before. Do you guys sit in craft, or do you stand in craft, or are you a combo person? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what I am. I used to stand all the time. Now I sit all the time. And then this last week I've stood all the time. So I think I'm a combo. Anyway, for this card, I used my own foam tape to create the frame of this. But then I realized I could have just used the endless foam refills for the base. And so that was pretty silly. So I should have known better. So this card was made probably backwards in all sense of card making. So I'm going to walk you through what I did. You may find an easier way to do this, but I don't like to do things easy. So I am going to do it just like I did the last one. So if you're in the forest, which I try not to do very often, you'll see that the trees closest to you are darker, or is it vice versa? The trees, I'm going to make it where the trees closest to us are darker. So I'm right up on this design tree. So I did use, if you would like to see, I used a pattern paper for this tree. So that will give it a little bit of detail. The others are just background trees that I've cut, and then I want to, I just kind of want to get a layout of all this little scenery here before I stick anything down. Okay, so I think I'm going to go something like this. Is it realistic? No, but it is a forest full of random style trees, so I like it. Now let's get started. I'm going to glue this guy down, or I can even use tape runner for this. Either way is not a big deal. If you do use liquid adhesive, don't let it seep out over the edge, because your snow that we're going to work on in a little bit will attach to that, and we don't want that. We want this to be pretty tame and everything to be exactly where we put it. So I'm not really pushing down on these yet, because if I've made a mistake in placement, I can easily pick this up and move them around. But I also wanted to show you the detail in the background of my white paper. It kind of looks like snow flurries, or wind or water or anything like that. Today we're going to be using it for wind flurries, like a snowstorm. So I'm hoping that you could see that okay. As I get closer up here, my lighting is a little more yellow, so I apologize for that. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to stick this one right over here. So I think I did okay. So I am going to push down a little bit more. This one I think could have been a little bit taller. So I will carefully pull this one up a little bit. I just don't want a lot of white behind or any like peaks of white behind at each tree. I didn't want to use a whole lot of trees. Sometimes in our card making, we want to make things as simple as possible. So instead of a scenic, cottagey little cabin in the woods scene, I am just making a tree and deer scene. So I do want to adhere the first deer. He's going to be a little bit higher towards the trees, in the trees kind of, than this guy. Now this guy has a little piece of foam tape on the back. So I am going to just add him like he's standing right behind his friend. Now I am going to tell you, 2 bucks can be seen together. I wouldn't have questioned that. And I don't think you probably would have either until I just said it. But we were in Maine this last weekend and we saw a total of 9 deer, and most of them were actually all of them, but one was during the day. And that's really not as normal as you think. It's more in the dusk time frame or early morning. So I thought that was a little unique for us to receive or to see them in that manner, in that time frame. So anyway, I just thought I would tell you. And we saw 2 bucks in somebody's yard, and it's Maine. So we went and we drove up his driveway to get a closer look. They know, they can see the deer or the bucks. So they knew what we were doing there. And so I could have turned one of these bucks the upside down because there's no real stitch detail to them or anything. It could have been one on the other side as well. So that's completely up to you on how you want to work that. So I just used the outline of the foam refill for the Endless kits. I would pick some of that up if I were you because it's amazing and you definitely don't want to run out of those like I have. So I'll be placing my own order pretty soon. So what I did for this scenic look is I just used my wet adhesive. Now I did hear that Ginger used some score tape. I couldn't think of the word, sorry. Some score tape for that. She did find it a little bit more difficult to use, which I understand. So I am she said that you would see that it wasn't like picking up in all the places that she wanted it to be picked up. And so I am going to just use wet adhesive, and this is what I used the other day anyway, so I'm familiar with it. I didn't think of score tape, which I think is a brilliant idea as well. So as you can see, I'm just using a thin line of glue wherever I think I want to put some snow. Now, the snow that I will also remove out of this. So I'm going to just use my little spoon. I found this to be the easiest way to get it exactly where I want it. I'm going to go overkill. I want it to get on there nice and thick, and then I'm going to use my fingers and kind of pat it down so that it really sticks in there, or on there, really sticks on there. So I don't want to smudge. I'm just tapping in the areas where I think I remember where the snow was. And I did put my snow in a larger dish today so that I could dump it out without a whole lot of mess. I can turn it sideways and then I can flick it a little bit. Oh, look. That looks great already. Now there is going to be some mess. And again, just drop it on your floor and panic when you think your dog has unnecessary dander. So I want to put it in a few more places. I want it to be thicker in some places. Whoops, that's not going to work. Let's see. I want a little bit more here. Oh, that's perfect. That's going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to add a little more. And a little more. And like I said the first time, just pat it down with your fingers. And this will stay on my hand the rest of the video. Actually, I'll put it on this bowl. I was going to say it'll stay in there until I can go and wipe it off with the tissue. But of course, in my reach, there are no tissues. But I have a glass bowl that I just wiped it on. So how pretty is that, right? You could put a little on the deer antlers, but I want you to see that they're deer or they're bucks. And I don't want to, I think it's a little clumpy to put on their ears when their ears are quite small to begin with. All right, and then you can actually pick off some if you find that it's a little too thick and add a little more if you think it's too thin. So like I said, it's just about snow. Who here lives in a climate that has snow? I know not everybody gets it. Who here has never seen snow? That should be the question. Because it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And every year I think, I cannot wait for the first snowfall. And then I can't wait for the snow to stop. So I have forgotten a tool. I want to make sure I just bring over a tool here, and I want to make sure that you guys can still see me on my little laptop because I want to make sure that you see this part. So what's going to happen now is I am going to just fill the bottom of my picture frame, or my frame, my endless frame. I'm going to fill a lot of snow down here. Now this does not necessarily move around like I showed you earlier, so I want to fill this in like these deer are on the ground. Some of it will fly around, but the majority of it will not. So I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little more because you can see the base of my tree, and I don't want that. And if I pile it up over here, you will see that it won't move. So I'm going to put it up over here a little bit, like in the corner, and then over here in the corner, because we're going to make a actual window frame. Like you're looking outside your window and this is your view. I'm trying to get it settled because I'm going to carefully take off this acetate, or pardon me, the paper for the sticky part, and I don't want that snow flying everywhere and sticking to my sticky part. And there is a piece on my sticky part. All right, and so here is my acetate that I already have ready. And I am going to carefully toss it in the corner and drop it down. Okay, so I did make a little bit of a mistake. Grabbing a pair of scissors that are behind me, because of course I didn't think I would make a mistake. Sorry about that. But it went on a little haphazard, so it's off to the center, or off of the edge a little bit over here. But as long as you can see that it is sticking everywhere slightly, you're all set. So I'm going to carefully just trim off what hangs over. You can see like this. And then that'll clean up that mess, and you won't see it when I add the paper that I'm going to use. Okay, so there we go. Can you even see that it was off-centered? Nope. And I love it. So now I'm going to show you how I made the frame. Oh, there's a dog piece of hair in my frame. Oh, no, it isn't. It's, sorry. sorry, dogs. So I'm going to move this so I don't spill it. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a window frame using this border right here from the Bonanza Borders #1. And you get 5 in each set. And I've used all of them except for, I don't think I've used this one, but now I should. Okay, so I'm going to take some wet adhesive and I'm going to thinly apply glue all the way down the edge. Now I'm going to try to line this up where it will be even everywhere. So I'm going to put it right to the edge of the white. And I'm going to hang on to it for just a second, or you can add a paperweight to it. Anything that will be of significant weight to just make sure that it stays down and it adheres down. Obviously, I didn't go far enough with my with my adhesive, so I'm going to put it a little more there. And it doesn't take too long. And all that inside is pretty dry too. As long as I'm not moving it and shaking it too much, it should be all set. All right, there's that one. And then I think I'm going to get a little bit smarter, and I'm going to put adhesive down the actual line instead of on the paper. And then I'm going to line that up and put some weight on that, hoping that it dries pretty quickly instead of like regular paint drying or grass growing. Oh boy. Ladies, I think we are going to need some weight on this because it is acetate and it's craft paper and it's quite thick. That might be the reason we're struggling a little. We'll just give it another second. Let me see if I can see any comments here. The new borders are beautiful. I agree. So did you all answer the question on if you get snow where you live? And have you ever seen snow in real life? A great big snowstorm. So sometimes we get a white Christmas here in Massachusetts. I'm actually from Maine originally, and that's where my family still lives. But we sometimes get white Christmases, but usually the snow comes after, like in February when it's 0 degrees, so it's not as pretty as you would think. I mean, the snow falling is pretty, but then it's so cold outside that nobody wants to go outside and play in it because it's just miserable. Hold on just a second. I'm going to get my new paperweight that will be a little bit bigger, and I can just use that for some help. So I'm going to just put a thin line here. And now I'm going to add the next one, and I'm going to put it right across the bottom. There we go. A little glue seeped out, but try not to smudge it too much because then it'll ruin your acetate. If you, if you're careful, you can clean that up with a pin or something that's pretty poking, thin. I would recommend like a pin or a poker or something, and you can clean that up pretty well. And then it will, why isn't this sticking? And it's moving so much that it's getting glue on my acetate. So don't be like me. Don't be in a hurry. Just sit here for a minute. My craft paper is so thick that it's turning up on me. Instead of laying flat, it's getting a little damp, so it's turning up. You can see this one right here. It's not flat on the table either. It's curled up. So maybe I will curl it the other way before I put that one down. Why make two mistakes? All right, let's see if this is even straight. Yeah, that'll work. All right. There we go. A friend of mine gave me this. Isn't it nice? It's perfect for the biggest part of a craftastrophe. I am. It's a mess. And this silly stuff. Norma made my paperweight. I wasn't going to throw her out there. Her husband actually made it. And it's absolutely my favorite one. Now, I love all the small ones for small detail, but this guy is pretty awesome. I need to put a little adhesive there, put this back down. I'm going to give it one more second, and then I'm going to get going. Sheer glue is a rule, unless you're out of it, and then it's not a rule. I use any adhesive that dries clear when it is dry, obviously. Whoops, I didn't mean to say that, because obviously it's when it's dry, so it dries clear. So here you go. There's my last one. There we go. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to push it to the side and hope that I don't maneuver or move anything. I'm going to work on these two little trees. I'm hoping you can see them. The last one here, I did not use any acetate, and I want to, or any snow, and I want to on this one. So I'm going to add, these are not shrubs. They're actually the outline die of the acorn in the holiday jar kit, but doesn't it look like a little shrub? So anyway, I tried to stick with 1 or 2 kits, so that way if you had it, you could see, you could get it, dig it out, or you could see how to use it, or how to get a little further with your kit. Okay, so I made a mess with this one, but that doesn't matter because a little snow won't hurt. And why didn't any of you remind me to bring my craft tools over to the table? Why would I not do that? Anyway, this is the 3rd time I've had to get up for some sort. Oh, well, that doesn't work. Let's see. There we go. And I'm just going to stick this in the snow and push down, tap it off, and look how darling that is. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Dip it in, press it down, tap it off with my amazing reverse tweezers. Now this one has more snow because I got a lot of glue everywhere. Like, don't breathe too hard around that snow because it will go everywhere. So it is a pine cone. Isn't it great? I love it. I love it. I think it's clever. It's fun to use things when you don't, when you're least expecting it. So, or least expected things. It looks completely like a shrub. It's not brown, so it looks like a shrub instead of a pine cone. All right, so I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to carefully take my scissors, and I'm going to trim off these pieces. But I got to hold it closer to me. I'm hoping you can see. Let's see. I'll stand up for this. So I'm going to stand closer to me, and I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to trim this one off. Oops, this way. Whichever way is best for you. Whichever way works best for you. And then I'm going to cut this one off from the front. This one off from the front. Nope, I want to move that one to the back. I think, obviously, I'm having a hard time talking and cutting at the same time. So one more and I'll be able to continue talking. And I'm going to cut that one off from the back too. And they're flying everywhere. And now I have beautiful seams there. You can, if you want to be one of those, is it beveled type of people that get all fancy and miter your corners together, have at it. But this girl is not going to do that. So, and doesn't this look almost like a picture frame? I love it. So now I'm going to add, I flipped and flopped this one over quite a bit. So I'm just going to add some adhesive right here in the middle of my card. It's a pretty big piece of foam that's going to stick on the card. So I'm just trying to be careful where I am going to add all that adhesive so I don't see it outside of my frame. Isn't that cute? Now I chose a different color than the black and white. I do love that black and white paper. I'm not going to lie. And then I'm going to add my little title over here. Very similar to the one I already added on the last one. It is backed with a little bit of foam tape. I'm going to add a little tiny piece of foam tape behind the first tree, the shrub, the baby shrub. Let's see. Hope this isn't too big because I am going to add it. Nope, that one's good. All right. And then we're going to add it right down to the acetate because my title isn't as long as the other one. And then I'm going to take this one and add a little piece of foam tape behind that one. And then we will stick that one to the white tag and it'll be raised up a little bit. Now, if you are not a foam taper, then do everything. Well, you can't do a shaker card without a little bit of adhesive and foam. But if you don't want any additional adhesive or any additional dimension, then don't use this extra foam tape that I'm using. And then we'll push this one right down there. And that is our first card covered in snow. Isn't this great? Doesn't that look like a window frame? And you are looking out your window in your nice, warm, cozy home, and all that snow is outside. Or it's building up in the corners of your window, like it does. I love it. Is there no sound? Oh, you're talking about dimensions. So, oh, and my card base is a little crooked, so I'm going to carefully try to make it straight one more time. It peeled right up, I guess. I didn't have it stuck very well. Okay, there we go. There we go. So there's our first one. I think they're cute. Now, I love both of them. I'm not going to lie. I like this house, this cabin in this one. And I put some snow on the roof and on the wreath because that would obviously catch some snow. I would, but I love this one. I love the snowy reindeer and the double reindeer. So, you know, I don't know. And I like the shrubs having some snow on them. So those two cards are done. And I want to show you how I made this one. It's a little different. You may be familiar with how to do this already, but hang in there and I will get through this quite quickly because we don't want to waste your evening. You need to get back to the Olympics. So what I did was in your Shape Shaker card kit, the snowflake, the new peppermint candy, and the new candy cane, you get 2 dies. In the peppermint candy, you get a 3rd die. It's a little circle. But so you've got 2 dies here. This is the outline die, and then this is your detailed die. With the outline die, I took a regular old card base. I want my card to stand up like this, right? So I'm going to make sure that these two points here are going to be straight so my card will stand up. But I've got to make sure that this one is all the way on the card. So I just use you can use washi tape. I'm just using an Easy C Crafters tape just to keep it in place. And then I would run this through my machine and I do it twice. Run it through twice because you're going through 2 pieces of paper and you want to make sure that it cuts through. So once I run it through, this is what you would get. And then, because this is the nook of your card, the crease of your card, you want to make sure that you just cut one more piece of white cardstock out so you can put it right on the top. So let's do that and put it right on the top. Why are you not moving? So we're going to use a little bit of a wet adhesive. I need to be cautious not to use adhesive on the one that's going to stick out over. So it's going to be that one. So I'm just going to line that right up. And now I've got an entire snowflake on this card. And then I'm going to add the paper, foam tape, the foam outside outline, or the foam frame that you have in your kit. And I'm going to try to do this snowflake in one color. So I want it in white because I want my snow and my toppings to blend together and look really pretty as like a white snowy blizzard inside of this. So I just wanted to try this. This wasn't on the agenda for tonight, but I wanted to try it. And so I thought, why not bring you along? So, okay. What's in the little house is from the Winter Wonderland snow globe. It's a bunch of snow globes in that kit, and it's part of the Winter Wonderland. However, if you don't have Winter Wonderland, you could use the cabin in the Great Outdoors. Absolutely. Now, Winter Wonderland is out of stock at the moment. It has sold out during our little Christmas in July. So you guys can probably grab that again if you're interested in that at the beginning of December, closer to Christmas time. I believe it'll be restocked. All right, let's see. Now I'm going to use this pink one. This is what I really wanted to use on this one. So I'm going to use some snow, and I'm going to make sure on this I get a little bit of snow up in every little nook and cranny. So it gets up in every corner of the snowflake. Oh, this is cute. And then I'm going to use this, and I'm going to just make sure that I have a little bit up in each end of each snowflake. Try to get each color. I could have dumped this out, but I don't want to because I am only using just a little bit of it. And then when I get to the center, I can dump it into my card if I want to. But I want to make sure that I get a blue up in each corner because not every corner has a blue already. And there's really beautiful big pearls in here. They're real, by the way. Mine are anyway. Mine are real. So, okay. Whoops. I'm just going to try to get a couple pearls for each. I could be using that little sticky tool that we have as well. But that's on the other table too. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to shake it a little bit so that everything settles in. And then I'm going to add a little bit of colorful snowflakes in with, oh my goodness. This color combo is gorgeous. Look at that. With just the white fluffy snow, it takes it to a little bit different level. I love it. Do you guys like it? Oh man, I do. I love it. Okay. So now, this is where you need 17 hands. I probably should have put my pin back in because it leaked. It didn't leak glue. I set my acetate right on top of the pin, and now there's glue on my acetate. Okay. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Okay, so this is a little harder to get off because it's curvy. So I'm going to just carefully, because I don't want to bounce my snow again like the last one. And I'm using this poker only because I can't hang on to my card and keep it still. But this will just hopefully prevent some of the bouncing that could possibly happen. And so I'm just slowly going around. Knock some of this back in there. And there's a piece of paper there. All right, carefully, I'm going to take my acetate and I'm going to line it up with both bottom pieces here. And I did not use any static guard, and I should have. But again, you just trim off all your extra acetate that hangs over. And I rarely ever get it on the first try. And I know some of you, you know what? This is behind the scenes mess. You don't see this with the finished product, but you don't see it. Just you're seeing it because we're doing a little live video, but we're all a little messy when it comes to crafting. And you just tidy up at the end. You tidy everything up. You make sure that your top part of your card looks nice. You're hoping nobody looks underneath the sheets, if you know what I mean. All right, so there we go. There we go. Nope, I got one more. One more right here. Am I perfectly cutting these? Absolutely not, because my paper here will do the trick. All right, so just to make sure I'm gluing on the proper side, I'm going to add a thin layer of glue on every nook and crease on this snowflake. Carefully pick it up. Now carefully set this one down. I don't want this to be a mess, and I don't want adhesive, or I don't want adhesive all over my acetate. So I'm going to pick up my pin this time, which is smart, and I'm going to take off my title for my snowflake, and I'm going to see where I want to put it. Now, where does my card open? It opens on this end. So I'm going to put it here. Do I want it across the top or do I want it across the bottom so you can see my entire center of my snowflake. I think it's going to the bottom because it's already stuck. I like it on the bottom. It doesn't really block anything that I want you to see inside the snow. So how cute is that? So there are a little bit of shaky in there, but mostly snow. I love it. And now we have ourselves a homemade card. Isn't that cute? And so you got the nice little light gray one and a solid white. And these those toppings got covered in snow in there. They look fluff. Oh, they look gorgeous. I wish you could see this. I'll get a close-up picture for you tomorrow or the next day and share it. So we have 2 new scenes. How cute are those? All with our snow. But one thing I just need to remind you of, if you want in on the most beautiful rainbow business in the world, you want to make sure before midnight tonight that you place your $149 order to get these guys for free. It's a set of 8, or you can purchase it for $39. So it's a $39 item you can get for free if you place $149 worth of an order. That's like girl math. So do it. You will get this for free, right? So anyway, happy snowing, and hoping that you enjoyed or got something from this live, and I will see you guys again soon. Merry Christmas in July until midnight tonight. Bye-bye, guys.